Welcome to Build Your Thing, the podcast where we help content creators find their unique creative voice, build a tribe of loyal fans, and monetize their work. My name is Maggiaro, and my guest today is Daniel Canosa. So, you know Daniel if you've been listening to the podcast because he was one of the first creators I've interviewed last year. Since then, Daniel has built up his Notion consulting business to $100K per year, and this year, he wants to focus heavily on YouTube to acquire new eyeballs and customers. Why is that the case and what's his plan? This is exactly what you're about to discover in today's episode. With that being said, let's get started. All right, Daniel, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Matt. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you back. So you've been on the show 1 year ago, and I know that a lot of things happen on your end. So what has changed?
Well, man, it's incredible that it's been already 1 year, because this also means that I've been doing all this that I'm doing for one more year, and I'm still alive, which is good news. So honestly, a lot has changed. I believe back in the day when we spoke, I was not focusing too much on consulting clients in all these Notion systems and automation universe, and now I believe like 60% of what I do is that. But I know that we are gonna talk about how I have changed a little bit my mind this past new year. And yeah, so I can tell you now how I see this business coming along in the future.
Last time we talked about you starting a YouTube channel and being able to monetize that through two different ways. So number one, there was like your Notion course, and then you had like you were just starting with consulting and helping businesses kind of systematize their processes. So what does your business looks like today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to date, as I say, like 60% comes from consulting, and also one learning that I have gotten from this, and I believe that is going to be helpful for everybody that is listening. That when we get started, it is so much easier to earn a good salary, a good living by doing things that don't scale. So by having fewer clients but with higher ticket price, because in the beginning our audience is quite small, so those are kind of easier to get. So you need less clients to make a good amount of money. But then now, since I'm starting to grow the channel and everything, now I'm focusing more on things that scale. And for things that scale means that I don't have to use my own time to sell more, which in my situation, this comes in the form of Notion templates. So those are like pre-made systems that help businesses to get started with using Notion, so they don't have to start from a blank page. And as I said, this is fully scalable because they just pay for it, download it into their own Notion, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, so I remember also there was like this kind of Notion template part. So I would like to go back to what you mentioned, which is very interesting, and I think which a lot of people get wrong when they are starting out, is that they look for, I want passive income, I want to build something once and then sell it for an unlimited amount of time. So, and what was your approach to actually start selling your services instead of your products?
I love this question. And I learned, honestly, the hard way, because I was also thinking the same, like build once, sell twice. I just want passive income, go to the beach, drink margaritas and all this shit that the 4-hour work week tell us. But I quickly found out that for doing that, you need scale and you need a big audience. Because if you are going to be selling like $50, $100 products, you need to bring a lot of people in to make a decent income that can support your lifestyle. And I say that I learned this the hard way, because in the beginning I was only doing the scalable thing, the flashy thing, as I say, and And honestly, I was not very successful because my audience was quite small. So maybe I was making like 1,000 euros per month, or some months less, some months more, but it was around that area. And yeah, and for living in Europe, this is impossible. So I started to ask myself, why am I not really consulting people? Because I love the thing that I do. I love thinking about systems. I love that, I don't know, you might come here, tell me how your business is structured. I love coming up with ideas on what we can automate, what we can fix, how can we make you like super more efficient. And so I asked myself, if I like this, why am I not doing it? And the only answer that I could get to was because it doesn't scale. But this, I think that this prevented me from consulting for some months. But then I started thinking, I I believe I'm being a little bit stupid. If I like this thing, why am I not doing it? Just because it's not scalable. Like for me, that started to be not enough reason. So yeah, a consulting project came by. It was a person that bought my Notion course and wanted like some more custom thing built for him. And I said, okay, why not? It's more money, and I'm gonna have fun because I just love this thing. And that's where when everything started. And yes, and to date now, the majority of the income comes from the consulting. And even if it's not scalable, it is something that I still enjoy. So yeah, I will recommend this for anyone that has a small audience and that enjoy consulting, because consulting sometimes can be a little bit cumbersome. But yeah, man, if you enjoy it, just go for it, and don't just get fixated on I just want passive income and that's it, because in the end that is a little bit impersonal, and you don't feel the people that are buying. You don't, I know, it's a little bit, or at least this is what I found, it's a little bit empty.
How did you decide like on the pricing, and how did you then start kind of scaling this service? Which means when I'm talking about scaling is like, how did you find more people to actually buy this service?
hmm Yeah. So in terms of pricing, honestly, just winging it. So the first client that came, I just quoted him a number that felt uncomfortable for me. So I believe that I've always been guided by this feeling of being uncomfortable, because I think that if we are uncomfortable when we share a price, the price is right. If we feel too comfortable, like say, I don't know, I'm going to charge you 100 euros for this Notion build. Uh, for me, this feels like too comfortable, and yeah, probably that is not the right number. But for context, like the first consulting project, I believe that I charged 450 euros, and it took me like a full week. But that number back then got me nervous. So it was like, oh, 400 euros, like it was a lot for me, because I was just getting started, and I had all these imposter syndrome and stuff. Um, but yeah, as a rule of thumb, I will follow this feeling of feeling uncomfortable in order to price services. And then in terms of scaling, honestly, the majority, I believe like 80 something percent of the business for consulting that comes to me comes via YouTube. So yeah, in the end, since the YouTube channel has continued growing, so the quantity of clients um, has also been maintained. So I receive client inquiries from YouTube quite often. And another thing that I have done to be able to accommodate the number of clients is automate almost everything. So all the admin work is fully automated. I have like a workflow that triggers certain automations, that sends the invoice automatically, that sends the payment automatically, that sends everything. And this has allowed me also to have more capacity to take on more clients.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is like YouTube has been your main traffic source, so acquisition source. And then how does the customer journey looks like? So they stumble across a video and then what? Like, do they buy a course, or do they just directly sign up, or do they perhaps send you an email straight away?
It depends, but typically, people, whenever they contact me, they have already watched some of my videos. Mainly, like one video that I have that is specifically for businesses. So they have seen what the system can do, what Notion can do. So they are already bought into using Notion for their business. Probably, like most often than not, they have already tried to do it by themselves. Maybe they have even downloaded one of my templates. They have downloaded other templates from other creators, and they have tried it themselves. But it has not worked because, as I always say, a template cannot really. A template is not your business system. It's just a starting point. So you need to build on top of it. So it's just saving you time, but it's not doing all the work for you. So then yes, they find out that then they need like more custom things built, to modify the template, and everything becomes chaotic. So in the moment that they are bought into the system, into using Notion, but they realize that is not enough. What they have in Notion is not enough, is not working. They don't know how to automate it. Then is in this point in which they reach out. Yeah, and this is typically by email or by just directly like booking a call with me, because I have the Calendly link in my website. And yes, and then we sit down, we have a chat, and find out if we are a good match to work together, and if so, we go ahead.
Okay, that's interesting. So, can you walk us a little bit behind what your free consulting or what your free consultation actually looks like? So, you're probably, let's say, asking what they want to achieve, perhaps what their roadblocks are, and then like how does the conversation actually unfold into a collaboration, and also what is like your pricing model? So is it like, do you charge per hour or perhaps or per project, or like how does like walk us through like your conversion machine?
Okay, so in the first call, in the first chat that we have, I basically want to know a little bit of everything, but not too much of anything. So I want to get like the bird's eye view of what is the current situation in which the business is in, like which tools they're using, how they're using it, but then mainly what is not working. So what is the reason why they want to talk to me? So this is the question that I always ask, like, why are you here? Like I say it in a more polite way, but yes, in the end, is why are you here? Because I wanna get to the pain points. So I don't know, we are using a lot of time in communicating internally, and yes, and this is costing us like too much time, and we are not effective. We are forgetting about sending proposals to clients, and in the end, they go with someone else from our competence. I want to get to there. So it's basically like a doctor. You go there, you say, I have a knee pain. And then they start asking you a question. Does it hurt when you move it like this? Does it hurt when you move it like that? And with all these questions, they will understand what happens and how to fix it. So this is basically what goes on during these conversations. And then there's been also sometimes that they don't really have like a very big problem, and that even like using Notion is not the best solution. So I'm also very, very truthful. Sometimes I think, okay, it will be a waste of time that we work together because you're already working well, or because I don't know, Notion doesn't fit what you want to do. Like, yeah, there is some of these situations as well. Then, in terms of pricing, this depends on the company. Honestly, I'm trying to standardize a little bit the offer that I make, but I'm also flexible because. Yeah, or at least I haven't yet found an offer that fits everything that comes my way. So typically, I don't charge by hour because I hate that. I believe that this is like shooting myself in the foot, because I have this belief that if we are able to work faster because we are just like more experts. We shouldn't be compensated less because of that. So yeah, I hate charging by hour. But what I do is charge by project. I kind of estimate the scope of the project, and yes, and I give an estimate pricing. Yeah, with maybe a number of sessions that is gonna take us to complete. But honestly, this is not set in stone. I have done different things for different clients. So yeah, I'm always kind of tweaking the offer to try to find what's best for the client and for me. So now I'm in fact in a phase of kind of redefining how I'm going to go along doing like making offers for this service. So yeah, I'm in this middle stage.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. So since the vast majority or perhaps all of your clients are coming from YouTube, you are going to focus more on this aspect to acquiring new clients. Is that correct?
Yes, and this is a realization that I had not so long ago. This was in New Year, which is something that I said in the intro. During New Year's, I took like a couple of weeks to kind of think, and that's it. So I was thinking like how my business is going, what am I doing, like what are my acquisition channels, which are working, which are not. And in the end, I found out that from everything that I was doing, which was a YouTube, LinkedIn, a newsletter, and Twitter, that the vast majority of the revenue was coming from YouTube. So I have decided to double down on that. So during 2022, I was a little bit lazy with YouTube. Maybe I released like, I don't know, 15 videos in the whole year. Which, by the way, in 2021 I released one video per week, so I was quite good there. But I decided when I saw that those numbers, like more than 80% comes from YouTube, I decided to go all in on YouTube again because it's what was working. So yeah, it seemed super clear. And now I'm back to one video per week.
That's a huge difference, right? So on one side, you have like 52 videos per year, and the other one, like 12 videos. Like it's just a huge difference. And what I really, really like about it is that you really see the 80/20 principle here again in action. So a lot of people are busy doing a lot of things. So obviously when you're starting out, you don't really know what's working, right? So it's not a bad thing to try to dip your toes into different acquisition channels, perhaps also into different kind of offers that you're building, and that kind of going a little bit wide on different directions just to actually see what actually works. But once you identify that something is working, then you should put all your focus in. And this is also something that a lot of people who are just starting out really don't understand. And I didn't understand this for myself. Maybe like when I was just starting out, it's like perhaps 10 years ago, is that when you don't have, let's say, when you don't really know where your clients are coming from, then you can't really optimize for anything, right? So the first step in being able to optimize and being able to cut through the noise of being overwhelmed doing 500 different things at the same time is just setting up a proper tracking system. And for those who are interested in setting up a tracking system, I'm going to leave a link in the show notes. But understanding where people are coming from is quite easy when you're just working one-on-one, because you can just ask people, assuming the fact that they still remember where they found you, right? But when you're selling, let's say, digital products or that kind of stuff, and we don't really have contact, or sometimes you're just asking people and they say, well, I don't really know, perhaps it was a Medium article, or it was a YouTube video, or it was like kind of a recommendation. So this is certainly also something that you have to keep in mind. So I really like the approach that 80/20, you just identified, okay, what's working is YouTube. And I think YouTube, or SEO in general, because YouTube is kind of a search engine too, is one of like the the most passive ways to actually get traffic. Of course, like creating a video or writing an article, like there's a lot of work that goes into it, but this is actually where you can really leverage your efforts. So walk us a little bit through, how do you what is actually your what does your how does your process actually looks like when it comes to um, creating YouTube videos?
Before jumping into this, I want to also say that it is super important, something that you have said, which is to have a tracking system. And because it's something that I took for granted, because yes, of course, I know that 80% of my clients come from YouTube, but it is because I have a system that tracks that. My system for consultations is like super easy. I mean, just in the Calendly link, I just ask them in the form, where do you come from? So it's like, it cannot get simpler than this. Of course, there is more professional ways of doing this, but yeah, this simple thing gave me this conclusion of just mainly using YouTube for client acquisition. Then, in terms of my video creation process, it is also true what you said, that it is a lot of work, and in the beginning even more, because creating videos entail a lot of different skills that normal people don't have. So normal people are not comfortable talking in front of a camera. They don't know about lighting, they don't know about audio equipment, they don't know about editing, they don't know about scripting, they don't know about any of this. So in the beginning, it is quite daunting, and for me, even it took me like several months to get started, because I was paralyzed, because I kind of knew all the skills that I needed to learn, and I was like, holy shit, like this is too much, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep up with this. But yes, honestly, this is just something that everybody goes through, and that we just have to get on with it. Do the first, I don't know, 30 or 50 videos that nobody's going to watch, and from that point on, yeah, we will have the skills. And then the video creation process is all done in Notion. So I have a way to capture ideas. So whenever I have an idea, typically, I believe I don't have ideas. I just see things online that give me ideas. So I just do it like that. And whenever something online tells me, oh, this maybe be a cool idea for a video, I'm just gonna go to Notion. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna go to Notion and jot the idea down. But that is just the idea. I don't know the title. I don't know the thumbnail. I don't know anything. So it's just a bucket of ideas. Then at the end of every month, I plan my next month of content. So I go through all my ideas that I have written, and ideas can be like video about CRM, and that's it. So I have nothing else, and and this I honestly do a little bit by feeling, like what do I feel like creating for this month. So I'm just gonna check, like, I don't know, my 30 ideas, and choose 4 for this month. And to these 4, I'm gonna give them a little bit of love, and I'm gonna come up with a proper title, come up with the description of the thumbnail, how the thumbnail is going to look. And if this process sounds a little bit counterintuitive, like, why are you starting with the title and the thumbnail? It is because in the end, those two things on YouTube are going to define what the content is about, and those are the two most important things on YouTube, because is what is going to make people click on your video or not. So those should get a lot of love. And yes, once I get the title and the thumbnail description for these 4 videos, I'm just gonna schedule them. I have like some subtasks that get created automatically for scripting and recording and editing. Well, editing no, because I have an editor, publishing. And then that is it. Like, whenever I have scheduled to do the script, I'm gonna do the script. There are people that do the script in like many days, for, I don't know, like 20 minutes a day. They just sit down, script a little bit, and then get on with whatever other thing. But that never worked for me. So I just do like the script from beginning to end in the same day. And then, yes, once the script is ready, I just sit down one day. I try to bulk record videos. So this means that I will have at least a couple of scripts ready to go so I can record both videos on the same day and with the same setup, because this saves me time. In the past, I tried to record 4 videos in one day, but that was too much, and I started to hate the process. So yeah, now I have come back down to recording 2, because then this gives me like 2 weeks worth of content. And then I have an automation that whenever I drop all the raw files in a Google Drive folder, those get sent to my video editor, and he takes the lead from there. So he edits the video. He sends me the edited video in a tool called Frame.io, which is a tool for video editors video editors to share to share videos with others, so others can comment on the video, and I can write there my comments, what needs to be changed, what I don't know, what we can remove, what we can add, and then some and all these things. And when he gets this feedback from me, he finishes the edit and uploads the video, creates the thumbnail with with the instructions that I have given to him, and publish it.
That's very interesting. So there are a lot of interesting things here. So just a quick question before going back to your process. Do you do any keyword research?
I did it before, but then I stopped. The reason is that I started to focus more on what I okay, this is a little bit of, it's not a science at all, it's more of an art, but what I think people will click on, and that's it. Because in the end, what I have seen is that a lot of clicks on the videos come from the YouTube homepage. So whenever you open YouTube, you know that you have like a lot of videos already in your face, and a lot of clicks come through this and not really through search. I believe like through search, maybe it's like 20-30%. And the vast majority, like probably the rest, comes from the YouTube homepage. So I decided to bet more on not so SEO titles, but more of a like more human titles, like titles that I will click on. And yeah,
That's very interesting. So perhaps like you can get away a little bit with this keyword research because you already have, let's say, an audience, especially when you're just starting out. Like, at least this is in my experience. So I've, created over the years perhaps 3 or 4 YouTube channels. So at the beginning, always you have like this, people still need to discover you, right? So you're not going to pop up, let's say, on the home screen, etc. So I found that actually having heavily focusing at the beginning, at least to get the keyword research and the SEO part right, helps a lot in terms of discoverability. I don't know if you share this point of view or not.
that is a very good point, and my apologies because I was not thinking about where I was like 2 or 3 years ago when I started the channel. But you are completely right, and probably that's why I was doing it, even if I didn't realize it until now. But yeah, probably I was doing SEO research because of this, because I didn't have an audience. So I'm not appearing in any homepage. So yeah, I believe that you are completely right, and even now I don't do it, but when I started, I was also sharing my videos in different Reddits, in different subreddits, in Facebook groups. So I was going the half mile further to share it, because yes, when you are starting, the organic traffic that you bring is very minor.
Yeah, I remember that you shared that on our last conversation, and like while you were talking, I was just curious about like where do my views come from. And look, like on my side, I have 60% coming from YouTube search, so I'm certainly biased towards keyword research.
SEO will never hurt, that's for sure.
I want just to go back to your workflow when it comes to YouTube. I think you have a very, very strong workflow. And the first thing that I want to go back to is that I love the fact that you actually mentioned that sometimes you don't have ideas, but based on what you are seeing or what you're consuming, like you just have some ideas that pop up. And this is something that I really want to emphasize on, because many creators, especially newbies who get started, they don't really understand the importance of content consumption when it comes to content creation. This is something that I talk about a lot in my second brain course. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Is that at the beginning of every creation comes actually the consumption part, right? So you are what you consume, not only when it comes to food, but also when it comes to how you feed, how do you feed your brain, right? And I really like the fact that you mentioned that. This is the first thing, and the second thing is that I really love the fact how you are batching things. So you're really taking batching very seriously by, number one, batching the scripting, batching, filming the things. But you also kind of understood that there has to be a sweet spot, which means that if you feel bad about creating 4 videos in a row, then you certainly don't do it, because it just eradicates or it just takes away the fun out of it. So I really like that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I try to be more of a robot of what I can be. And I found out, I believe, like in 1 month doing this, like recording 4 videos per week, I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore, because I remember like going to sleep knowing that the next day I was going to record 4 videos. I was like, wow, I don't want to do it. I feel like it felt like such a burden. And I realized, but I'm doing this because I like it. So and I'm not enjoying this. So what's the point? Yeah, I may be more productive, like, but that's not the only point. So we are also doing all this creative thing to have fun and to enjoy the process.
So you mentioned you're scripting the videos, and then like do you have a prompter or something like this, or do you just script it so that you know exactly like what you have to say, and then you just leave it like that? So kind of you leave some kinds of randomness to it, or
I have tried a little bit of everything. I have tried the teleprompter. I have tried the no scripting. I have tried the scripting bullet points and then just go off the cuff. But in the end, what felt better was to script, but not just no word by word. So what I want to have is like the structure of the video, so I don't forget about anything. And then when I'm recording, I mean, since the video is going to be edited, so I'm just reading on the screen like the next point, see the sentence and everything, and then I just look at the camera and say it, but it's not word by word. And maybe even when I'm speaking, I may come up with another idea that I didn't think of when I was scripting, and I will just say it, because maybe I can just remove it later in the edit. But yeah, I kept this kind of hybrid approach between using a teleprompter and saying everything word by word, and not having a script. So I stayed in the middle. So I have a script, I have the structure, but I don't follow word by word. I just allow the script to guide me, but then yes, then I have a little bit of creativity when I'm recording, and I may add new things.
And how do you approach the script? Like, do you use templates?
I use a very simple templates that I got from Ali Abdal, because I did his YouTube course, but it is a very basic template. It is divided in hook. So I always want to have a hook in the video, which is the part of the video, like in the 15 first seconds that are supposed to hook the viewer, so he stays. Then the, how he call it, the introduction, like who am I and everything. Sometimes, I think most of the times, I don't do it anymore. Before I was doing it, like, hey, I'm Daniel, founder of whatever, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't do it anymore. Then the value, which is like the meat of the video, what the video is about, and then the end screens. So he calls this the hive process. And end screens is basically to point the viewer to the next video that he should watch. I mean, if you have liked today's video, you may also like this other video where I talk about blah blah blah, blah. So click here, blah blah. See you next day. So this the last part. this is the template that I have.
I like that. It's simple yet effective. Daniel, so do you have any specific targets or goal in terms of views, in terms of subscribers, or perhaps in terms of revenue? And how do you actually define success?
So honestly, the main target for 2023 is to kind of invert the percentages of where the money is coming from. So I would like to keep the consulting as it is, because as I said before, I enjoy doing it. I don't want to overdo it, because I know that if I overdo it, I'm going to end up not liking it. So I just want to keep it as is. But I just want to grow now the more scalable part of the business, which is like the courses, the templates, and everything. So I want that these scalable things make up like 70% more or less of the revenue. Now it's 40, and that the consulting goes from being the 60% that it is today to more 30%, something like that. So yeah, this is the main goal.
Yeah, I really like that. So one thing that you've been mentioning through our conversation is really the importance of balance. So not trying to not do enough, but at the same time, not trying to push too hard. Because if you're doing things the hard way or too hard or pushing yourself too hard, then you encounter the risk of start hating the process instead of really enjoying it, which then has negative effects on all kind of different areas, right? Not just in business.
I believe that the main and the most important thing is self-awareness. I'm very big on going to therapy. I go to therapy with a psychologist every week. I do meditation less often that I will want, but I do meditation. I do journaling. So all these activities help me to kind of keep the focus on what's going on inside. And this helps me to understand, oh, I'm doing too much of this thing because I don't find enjoyable anymore. Okay, I'm gonna relax a little bit. I'm gonna do it less, or I'm gonna find a way that takes less of my time, or something like this. So in the end, it's just working, and finding which are your limits. Have self-awareness to understand that you are crossing your limits, and then just bringing it back down to a level where you enjoy it.
I think ending this podcast on this advice is the best thing to do. So Daniel, if people want to know more about you and what you're doing, where should they go?
So mainly to my YouTube channel, they're gonna find a lot of information on how to build systems and automation for businesses. So they can find it at Daniel Canosa. And from there you are gonna find everything else that I have to offer, my consulting services and all of it. But yeah, I will point them to YouTube.
Awesome. Daniel, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you, and yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, so hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and as always, you're going to find all the links we mentioned in the show notes. And if you're a content creator or want to become one and want to monetize your knowledge online, then be also sure to check out my free emails, because in my daily emails, you're going to learn how you can speed up your content creation workflow to create more content faster and thus attract more clients online in less time. It's the first link in the description. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and I see you next week.